start recording. Okay, recording a session. So today we're going to go over FreeCAD basics, and right now we're going to operate in FreeCAD 1. So this is the current version that's available commonly. We always use FreeCAD 16 before this, simply because FreeCAD 16 had a much simpler workflow to do things, especially like Tech Draw Workbench, where you can get technical drawings out of your CAD, which was very convenient. Now we do have, of course, tech drawings in FreeCAD 1. It's just a much bigger learning curve. Keith demonstrated we do have an instruction on how to do it. It just takes a little bit of time to actually go through it. So what I'll do is dive right into FreeCAD, and I'm going to share my screen to everybody else in the audience. Entire screen. Allow. So we're recording this, and here we go. We'll put this down here. All right, so there's a couple of different workflows you can do in FreeCAD, and it does have a very powerful sketcher. The idea that you can take two-dimensional sketches and then you can turn that into 3D pretty easily. And the typical workflow that we use is sketch things out, any kind of geometry in the sketcher, the two-dimensional part, and then take it out into 3D. So the basic exercise that we do is kind of we call it feature on a feature. So you can draw something of complex geometry, you can actually add features to it, to any side. Once again, using the sketcher, using drawings on any side. So let's do this. So if you guys got computers, go into FreeCAD 1. This would be participatory here if you want to just go with it. All right. So,
yep.
Okay. So start by what's it look like to boot up FreeCAD. In Linux Mint or whatever distribution you have, you just go into FreeCAD, just search for FreeCAD. That's the FreeCAD 16. That's the blue and red. That's not the one you want. It just crashes. We haven't really figured out how to use it on the current Linux. FreeCAD, that's included in the OSE Linux thing, so I just booted it up. I clicked on it. Let's try that again. Okay, it took a little bit of time. So that's the intro screen. First thing you want to do is just start a new file. Start a new document. This icon, paper, a little plus, new. Create a new document. That's it. It's blank. And FreeCAD has, so there's a lot of complication up there going on there, but things you need to know is there's workbenches. There's a whole bunch of different workbenches that you can do that have specific functions. Typically we start in Sketcher. So that's where you go to 2D, and after that you go into 3D from there. So in Sketcher, okay, so I switched into Sketcher. It's highlighted here. So don't be tricked here. Like, make sure that the proper workbench is selected. Otherwise, you will not see all the functionality that I'll be talking about. So Sketcher looks like this. You still see nothing there. You want to have the model view. Make sure you have the model view, which is the part tree for all the things that you're drawing out there. So we're going to do a sketch. Start with a sketch. Click on the sketch icon. It's going to ask you for a plane. Whichever plane you want to start with, just say you want to select XY plane. Now, if you're actually drawing things, say on an actual, if you're on an XY plane, then what you're drawing is into the Z direction. So that's a sensible thing to do. Like, for example, if you're drawing the studs, you can draw their base and then you can extrude that in the vertical direction. Well, let's say we do XY plane. Okay, so it gives you that. What you'll see after you start the sketch, you've got all kinds of ability to draw various things. So let's go at it. To do a square.
I'm not seeing that start a new sketch. And I get a bunch of red down here.
So the icon for a new sketch. So let's back out of this. So I'm going to close this. New sketch is that. See that? Create sketch. You have that icon, and the icon there is upper left. See what I'm clicking on? The page that with a circle and a square. Create sketch. Do that.
I see it.
Click on that.
And which plane do we decide?
Do XY plane, let's say. Click OK. It takes you into this XY plane. And now you have all the drawing tools here. So start with simple stuff. Okay, let's get a square here. There. Draw yourself a square. And here you can go through any kind of geometry, circles, squares, whatever, curves, all kinds of things, arcs, polygons, elongated slots, everything. I have a 2-minute video. I want to show you this one because I won't go into it. Well, maybe we will, because that's a very quick overview. So here you're drawing stuff in 2D. I'll show you the variety of things you can generate from that in another window. So if I...
Which one are we working on?
This is, so if you go to the wiki now,
XY.
we're at the wiki. Just go to FreeCAD. It's a page called FreeCAD, and there's FreeCAD tutorial. So let me see an index there. So this is all about how you download it.
I think it's under FreeCAD 101.
Yeah, FreeCAD 101. Right there. Go to the page. Good job, FreeCAD 101. And there's 2 videos there that are must see. So this is tutorial number 1, and this is a rapid fire video that shows you all the different sketcher functions. I think we could use some more speed here. So sketcher, primarily the sketcher, because if you can create something in 2D, you can then take it to 3D very easily. But the question is, how do you generate complex geometries in the first place? And a sketcher is a powerful tool to do that.
Welcome to OSC's first instructional video on FreeCAD.
The Sketcher workbench in FreeCAD
Can we up the volume?
allows for quick drawing of rough shapes and then constraining them
Is there a remote,
for
Brendan?
perfect
Is there a
geometry.
volume?
Start FreeCAD and create a new document. Select the Sketcher workbench.
Click the
and create a new
volume,
sketch.
get the volume way up.
There you go.
Select the XY plane.
More. Way up.
Welcome to OSC's first instructional video on FreeCAD.
The Sketcher workbench in FreeCAD allows for quick drawing of rough shapes and then constraining them to make perfect geometries. Start FreeCAD and create a new document. Select the Sketcher workbench and create a new sketch. Select the XY plane. Now you can start drawing. To exit any drawing function, click on the right mouse button. You can draw points, lines, arcs, circles, ellipses, polygons, squares, polygons, and slots. You can also fill it or round a corner and erase segments. Next are constraints. To enable a constraint, typically select 2 objects with the left mouse button individually or as an area. You can make points coincident. 2 points collapse into 1 point. You can join a point to a line, or you can join lines. The first point of 2 that you choose is the master point, so in this example, the line moves to a first selected point. Next constraint is making a line vertical, or making a line horizontal, or making 2 lines parallel or perpendicular. The tangent constraint can be imposed between a line and a circle. Equality constraints can apply to lines or circles. The symmetry constraint applies to any 2 points around a third point. If we impose symmetry to the endpoints of the line around a point on the line, we create a midpoint. For a square, we can apply the symmetry to 2 opposite corners around a single point. Locking applies to points. Locking one corner still allows other parts to move freely. For measurements, we can get a horizontal distance between 2 points, we can select its value, or we can measure the vertical distance or a diagonal distance. Then we can constrain the diameter of the circle. We can impose angles between 2 lines. The results of activating constraints can sometimes be unpredictable when there are multiple constraints already in place. You can erase any constraint, whether a dimensional or geometrical constraint, by clicking on it and hitting the delete key. You can see that when you draw shapes, the point snaps nicely, but this feature can be unchecked. Every sketch is treated as an object. Click Close to save this as a single sketch. You can start another by creating a new sketch. You can select between sketches, as well as hide and unhide in the tree view by hitting the spacebar. You can edit any sketch until you turn it into a 3D object. Sketcher takes you only to 2D. To go to 3D, go to another workbench, Part Design. In Part Design, you can now create a pad, turning a 2D object into 3D. To navigate in the default view, middle mouse button moves the screen, middle mouse button plus right-hand mouse button rotates objects. You can add to a design by import from other file formats, or merge other FreeCAD files into a single document. This is useful when you want to combine many parts drawn separately into a single document. You can work on multiple CAD documents, which show up individually in different tabs of the working window, but they all appear in one tree view. Once you have a three-dimensional object, you can select corners, edges, faces, which can be used for alignment or other operations. You can double-click to select the entire object. Right-clicking on the selected object allows you to change features, such as transparency to 50%. The tree view also allows you to change parameters. Select object, click on data, and you can change dimensions. You can use the sketcher to reverse engineer parts. If you have existing 2D blueprints, you can draw the complete assembly part by part.
That's that. So all kinds of geometries. But let's do a little exercise.
Is that the brick machine?
Brick press under construction. Sign up to us email. Okay, great. There's a second video that talks about other features, but right now let's practice what we call the feature on a feature exercise. So I'll blow through this real quick. I drew a shape, close, go to part design, pad it. Pad is this thing here. Okay, so this is the thing that's different. What I'm following right now is a FreeCAD 16 tutorial. Here it's this complication, but what it says, cannot use selected object. Selected object must belong to the active body. So it has this body thing. I don't even know what it is, but what I'll do is, if you go into the model, see it has body, just drag your sketch, the thing you just drew up, into that body. Let's see, is that the sketch I just drew up? I'm going to delete that. So I'm operating here in the part tree here. So this is the sketch right there. I can select that sketch and now do the operation of padding it up. Now you can say, okay, let's give me 2 inches on that. There you go. So this is a three-dimensional object. If you right-click navigation style gesture, so left mouse button rotates it, right mouse button translates it or moves it.
Are you moving the object or the camera?
Object.
Oh, okay.
So, and then you have different views. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the different sides. Okay, so you got a three-dimensional object. Here's the cool thing about FreeCAD. So go back to, you can be in part design, but part design also has that sketcher thing in there. Click on that. Okay, so I want to draw features on this cube.
So the new sketch, that, like, it's in part design and it's in Sketcher. It's the same function, right? It's just,
Same function.
It's just shared across different workbenches.
Yeah, in this workbench it has that same function so part design has it, Sketcher has it, and it may be found in some other workbenches. Okay, but here's the cool thing. So you select any side and we can start modifying it. So we take this side, I'm going to put a sketch on it. So give me no, not that. So it's asking me for a plane. I don't want it to be on a plane. I actually want to attach my sketch to this face. So I click on that, and I click Sketcher. So it took me to that face. Now I can draw this over there. Close. Pat it out.
Now you have another shape.
Now I just put a feature on this thing. There you go. So I put a feature on that side. Now I can put a feature on this side. Click Sketcher, and put a big handle on that.
Nice.
And then you pat it out, say to 3 inches. So, like for example, in this pad now you can double click on it and say it's only 3/8. Let's make it a longer handle. There you go. So you got this thing, and you can continue on this forever. So for example, if that's a pipe, you can put a hole through that. So I want to make this into a tube. So I go to the Sketcher again. I'm going to poke a hole in it. So I'm going to go take my thing.
And is that center? Did it
No, I didn't center. I'm just free winging it. So here you do the pocket feature. It's called pocket. And then I'm going to say, give me like an 11-inch pocket. That means it'll go all the way through. There you go. So there you go. It made a hole through that.
We made a tank.
Yeah, so we just drew up a tank.
That's a very odd tank.
So there you go. This you can go ad infinitum. You can put features on features. Now this is one object. So this is this body here, and it consists. So this is this body. If you unfold it, you can trace all your things that you did to it, and you can modify them. Like for example, this pad here, which was 1 inch, we can make that taller. So it should work. Like you can modify all those features and so forth. But that's the basic concept of a feature on a feature kind of a workflow. You can do this. You can play with this. I like the idea that you can simply select the face and just operate on that. It's pretty powerful. Like for example, with a free line feature, you can put your whatever your heat exchanger grid on this. I'm gonna say close and then put a pad like that. Did it work? Yeah, put this crown on it. So things like that. Ad infinitum. And that's one workflow. It's the that hey, can we lift that table? It's breaking the leg. Okay. So that's one thing. Now, that's operating from the Sketcher and patting things out or poking holes in something. You can also make, in a part design workbench, so, the orientation here, you always have to click OK and get yourself oriented in a model view so that you can see what's going on. You can fold that back. You just got this one body, and you can right click to rename this. So I'm going to rename that to this is my tank. There you go. Okay, so another workflow I want to show. So you can practice this, and it's relatively easy. But the things you have to get oriented about is you got to be able to start a new file. Bam. You got to go to Sketcher. Didn't do that. Spreadsheet workbench. Sketcher. It's going to get you new sketch. You got to select a plane. There you go, and you've got all the drawing tools there. The tricky part is going to be how do you get to this point? Because once you're at this point, you can draw stuff, right? And you can do a whole bunch of things. Close out of that, go into a thing like the part design, and now pat it all out. Okay, it gave me that. So this is where you're going to get tricked. If you go in, once again, this created a new body, and this sketch I got to throw into that body, and now I think it'll allow me to pat it out. Did you see what happened there? I did it, threw me an error because it needs to be oriented around a body. So you put that what you just drew into the folder that's called body. I said create body. Okay, so what do we end up with? Well, it looks like it didn't like what. You can look under that pad and see what's inside the sketch, and it doesn't. Okay, it didn't like the fact that I had this circle here. Maybe, I don't know.
Is there an infinite grid and it's not two features?
Oh, that's great.
It gets, sometimes when you draw things, unpredictable things happen, but drawing one object at a time always works. Like if you have two objects intersecting and you try to pad it out, it might give you a weird result. So
the objects, the sketch items need to be green, like they need to be constrained in order for it to be able to
Yeah.
add it, right? So
Yeah.
if you have a non-constrained object, it's not going to do anything to it, perhaps?
oh, if it's a simple object, if it was one object, you don't even have
Constrained, right.
have to
Yeah.
have any constraints.
Right.
But you can start. That's the whole point of in a sketcher. There's the constraints, so you can set the lengths, like all the things I described in that short video. And that video is shown at FreeCAD 101. So watch it 10 times, and you'll go through all of that. You'll learn all of that pretty quickly. I did that video because I tried to get a video where somebody would just show you how to do all the different drawing things, and so I pretty much condensed the number of hours into 4 minutes. Because there was no single video that could show you all this kind of stuff that I showed really quickly in that video. So that's the sketcher padding feature on a feature kind of a workflow. So now you can draw anything. But the more important thing is, so say you want to draw yourself a wall module, how would you go about that? So you have to think about, okay, if I'm going to construct it, what's the best way? Maybe I start with the bottom plate. You can think of many ways. You can draw up a stud, repeat it 4 times, copy and paste it a few times, or you can just draw out your base plate and you can put 4 sketches on it for the studs. So let's demonstrate those two, because from that point, that's all there is. You either take an object and maybe put more features on it, or create individual objects and create another object. It's just like you do in a real build. You have one base plate, you got studs, you draw them all out individually. It's very useful to copy and paste at that point. So let's demonstrate those two things. One where you draw something out, and I'll start. Typically, you want to start in a sketcher.
Marcin, can we copy and paste an existing wall module from the house already?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Send that? Yeah.
Copy and paste works really well, so you can maybe start with that. And if you want to modify it, copy and paste. Well, you want to do just that? Yeah, okay.
Close the HDMI.
See if we got unplugged. Can you maybe wiggle the HDMI cable? Or make sure it's plugged in.
Feels solid.
I think we got hacked.
Obviously.
Where's Jackson? It's him.
Huh?
He's our white hat.
Or did...
I got a better angle.
You can absolutely do that. You can take...
I wonder if it's power.
It is.
Take the existing model and start
looks like it's
doing
off.
features on any of the sides. Now sometimes that you get tricked and it doesn't work, because if it does not work, clone it. Take that, double click on that and make it a clone. Just a copy of that.
It's power.
Okay, power. Let's show exactly that. So Firefox crashed on us. Okay. So let's go to SH7 and take a wall module.
One of the big issues was like getting a module, making a module, and then orienting it so it's sitting on top of another module was one of the big things.
Okay, so let's show. We take a wall, and how do we build a house in FreeCAD? So so you have to practice, like what I showed with this. You can definitely do an object. The big deal after that is making copies and aligning them. So let's go through that, and we can do that with an entire object, such as a wall module. So how do we do it? Let's go to the graphical index, and we'll go to just download one simple wall module. as a start. So wall module 2, which is a super simple one. Right here, I'm going to take module 2. So it's the one right there. It's just the most basic one. Download that. Should end up on a desktop here. Unless it, no, I think it went to downloads. I like to keep things on a desktop so I can access it. So I would double click on that and see what we get. So you've got your, like shown in the video, you've got your different work windows. Like that's your start, just crash out of that. This is our tank. We can shut that down, close without saving.
It might not be set to open in FreeCAD. You might just have to drag it in or something. You can.
Open. You got to probably open with
There you go.
FreeCAD.
Yeah. I was going to see, like, can you drag it into FreeCAD? That'd be cool. Yeah.
There it is. It worked.
Hey, how about that?
Okay, simple module. Now, you have to look at what's in there. So this is actually made of parts, but there's a simple copy. Ooh, right there. So if you hide all the parts, that's a simple copy. So it's one object. Let's see if the feature on a feature works on this, and it may not. So if you want to modify it, let's see how we can get to modifying it. So I'm going to click on, say, the mid stud, and I want to add another block in there. So it says, in order to use part of the active body object, you can make one active, double click or create one. So it says create new body. I'm going to do that. So it created this body. I'm going to drag the simple copy in there.
Hit OK.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so go back to the model. I've got the simple copy. I'm going to drag it into the body. And now I'm going to look for the ability. Okay, and this tricked me again. I think the navigation styles. I'm not in the how, so I'm gonna, I should right click. I want to do, where's navigation styles?
I mean, you're in gesture, right?
Oh, it
You're
should be in
you're
gesture.
Yeah, so you're good. You're good.
So it's not letting me, letting me move it, it's not letting me rotate it.
Are you in a sketch right now?
So I'm in Sketcher.
Go to tasks on the left.
Shouldn't matter, right?
Yeah. You're
Oh,
doing
here.
something.
Okay, so I was doing, so this is the kind of stuff that gets you. You're trying to do something and it doesn't work. Look at your tabs. I was in task and there's some active task, like it was trying to do something there. Close that. Okay, now I'm back to business here. So I'm in this copy. I'm going to get rid of this sketch, not to get confused. Base feature. I'm going to get rid of that. There's origin we like. So this is this compound, all right? I'm going to get rid of that I'm going to get rid of the parts. Delete that. Oh, it only, no, see that messed it up. I'm going to go back to the simple copy and I'm going to put it into the body. And I'm not understanding what's going on there. So I'm going to try to put a feature on this. So I click on the side and I'm going to go into Sketcher and I'm going to try to do my operations. Select the method to attach this sketch to the selected object. Plain face. I'll take that. Okay. So is it going to let me? I want to put a big handle on that. Looks like it worked. So I'm going to go to part design and pat it out.
It says cannot use selected object.
Oh, what did it say?
It said cannot use selected object.
Oh, yeah.
Cannot use selected object. Selection
Go back
must
to
belong
the
to the active body. Considering its shape. So this is,
Go to your model. be inside body, right? Maybe.
So this simple copy,
Sketch.
it's not inside body? Oh, there.
There you go.
Okay. So we put the sketch in the body, and let's see if we can pad it out. Yeah, okay. It worked. So now we're modifying this. We put this big handle on it.
Do that make it so much easier to carry?
Yeah. So now you can, for example, if you actually were serious, you might put like a feature that's 1.5 by 5.5, and it would add a stud on that. Well, I mean, let's do that. Let's see if we can replicate it. So I am trying to click on this. It's a pad already. I want to put a sketch on that. And see, I can't see the way it angled it. I can't see what's behind there. I could use transparency, but let's see if I can put something that's of a nominal 2 by 6 stud. Close that, and then pad it out. Yay! So this does work. It's actually pretty cool. So I'm going to make it like 22 inches or so. So you got the stud there now. You modified. You can put a window in there. Now, if you got a wall module like this, I'm going to get rid of this pad and this other one, get rid of those sketches. This is the other main thing. How do you copy and align these things? Okay? That occurs in draft workbench. Okay. So what I typically like to do in this, so it's got this body thing, this complex thing that's got feature, like, I don't fully understand all that's in there. FreeCAD 16 didn't have this. And I don't like that because I want to operate a lot in the part tree. And the more stuff you throw in there like this, like what's all that stuff? I just want that module. It's just confusing. So, but let's see if you can simplify that, just making a clone of this. So then you turn it into a clone using this thing, this one here. It's like a sheep or something. That clones it. So I'm going to take this body and clone it. So it turned it into this body 001. I'm going to even delete that body. Yeah, okay. So I got this thing. It's a dumb object. Like it has, you can't really get many properties out of that. It doesn't tell you its dimensions or whatever because it's a combination of a lot of different parts. But we're interested, like say you want to build a house and you had these modules and you want to create a new geometry, you need to copy and paste it in, so it's aligned in one face, one plane. You want to rotate it to get the other walls. So how exactly do you do that? We succeeded in just making a clone, and that definitely, so that worked. Like there's nothing inside that clone. There's no complication in there. I like that. Simple. So you got this simple object. Now, this is where these are the critical tools. It's called move and rotate. Now move allows you to, it's actually a copy feature. So if you move it, oh no, I'm sorry. Clone the clone that we just did. I'm going to go Control C and Control V. So we got another one. There's two of them right there right now. They're in the same position. So you got to select one, and now you want to move it. Okay, so click that move thing. Well, but the critical thing about this that you need to remember is you have to know what plane you're in. I'm in some weird rotated angle. I have no idea what's going to come out of this operation. It'll move it like wherever. So you need to make sure that before you go into, so close out of that. In the model, make sure you get into, sorry, get rid of that model, body, move. When you get into that, you have to pay attention to that box there, which is the orientation. Okay, okay. Let's go through that again. Nothing selected. Select move. Here is where you select the orientation. And the one you want to select is align to view. But before you do that, I mean, you can select whatever I don't know I would expect this to give me the top view. But here's where 1 through 6 come in. So I want to do this. 1. View number 1. I'd like to probably go into 4, so I'm looking at it from that side. It's now in a well-known orientation, so I'm going to go into the orientation. I'm going to say align to view. So now I know I am in this plane. And when I move this, it will move this only in that plane. So you can controllably predict what's going to happen in the next operation. So I'm going to do I selected the align to view. Now I can move it. So I'm going to select my body 2. I'm going to move that. There you go. I put it right next to each other. Not really. But it's in the same plane. It's going to be in the same plane. See that? So it's a controlled operation. Now we can get into actually making more sense out of that. What you can do is in the simplest method. So once again, if I move this now without changing that view thing, it'll give me a random result. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back to number 4. I got these 2 right now. I'm going to say align to view. Now you can move it again. So what I do simply is, I'm just going to zoom right in and put it right next to each other. It's not accurate. If you go zoom in ad infinitum, you'll see how inaccurate you are.
You can't have it move and snap 2 points to each other?
You can.
Okay.
But that gets into more complicated workflows, which I'm not going to cover here. I'm just going to show you the dumb way to just move them together. That goes into the assembly workbench, and there's more learning curve there to do all of that. And maybe someone here can do the lesson tomorrow. I actually haven't operated a lot in assembly because I know it's still in development, but as far as I know, it's in pretty good shape. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to zoom in as close as I can. You can go super, super close. Here, you've already got more accuracy than you'll ever build. So I actually claim to you, no, don't worry about getting that perfect in a CAD, because you're not going to build it perfect anyway. So in my view, it's actually not constructive because you get spoiled. You think things are going to work out, and they're not. So you might as well run into, my philosophy on this personally is I might as well run into some inaccuracies in a CAD, so it makes me think about what's going to happen in reality. If you like that approach, you can do. I think like that because I know the build is going to go out of control. What are we doing out there? We're out of control. So I don't mind doing this thing, but now I can actually align it quite closely to one another. I can just, I want to make sure, once again, align to view, because I moved around. I want to make sure I'm aligned to view. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to move it right to it, and that's good enough. Let's say, okay, so I was way zoomed out, so that's good enough for me. It's body 1, body 2. Let's copy it and let's make a wall 90 degrees to it. So tell me this: if I'm going to do Control C and Control V, so I got a third object here. I could, in principle, move it right there. Okay, so how am I going to rotate it 90 degrees to get me a corner? What I need to do?
Change the plane.
Yeah, so you got to change the plane. You probably want to be looking from above, like that.
Yeah.
And then you can rotate it at a controllable angle. So once again, I'm going to make sure I'm in a view, align to view, so then when it rotates, it's in this plane that I'm in right now. And then it's pretty simple. You rotate like that, you select the object, so it lets you create a handle. You can create that handle however, but it lets you do that. And you can type in 90 degrees there. So I typed in 90 degrees, and it did that. So now you have to, we're still in a good plane. I like that. So I'll just move it over. I'll move it over to here because that's how that would make actually a real corner. There we go. If you want to align it more, I mean, I would just go into detail and just maybe align that a little better. Okay, so we just created a house corner like that, and you see that we are not in the same vertical. So how do you correct that? Well, you want to look at it from any angle where you can move up without, so whatever view allows you to do that. And here you would just simply take that and move it up to the corner. So those are like the three basic things. One is the feature on a feature, going from Sketcher to three-dimensional things. Two is this three-dimensional stuff where you copy and paste, rotate and move. And the other thing is just make, let's do the last thing, which is let's go back to Sketcher. So Sketcher again, I'm going to do a new file. So that was our module 2 back here. I'm going to go to this window with Sketcher again. I'm going to create a new sketch in the XY plane. So let's actually build one of these wall modules from scratch. And you have to simply think about constructive geometry. What am I going to do? For me, the simplest thing would be I'll draw a bottom plate and I'll make 3 studs on top of that. Let's do that. And then you got to cap it with a top plate. But I would do it in the following way. So start at the origin. I would do this. So this is for real now. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to click dimension. Now 7/8 inches. So if I'm doing a bottom plate and I'm looking from the top, what do I need to put there?
Say that again.
If I'm looking from so I'm trying to make me a bottom plate, and I'm looking from the top. For this dimension that I just selected, what do I need to make it? 5.5. Yeah. 5.5. So that'd be the stud dimension like that. So I'm going to constrain this one. What do I need to make that?
1.5.
How many inches?
It's going to be longer.
Oh, is that the length, the thick?
So I'm looking from the top at the bottom plate of one module. Yeah, so 48 inches. So I just did that. Okay, there.
That's 48 3/4 or 3/8.
So you so here, close that. You can double click on that sketch again, and I should be able to change that by double clicking it. So I'm going to make 4 feet only. That's convenient. Okay, great. So you got these dimensions here. What do you do next so you can pad it out? Going into the part design workbench. And how big? Okay, and once again it gives me this annoying thing where I'm going to go back into the model and put it into the body. So put that sketch into the body. And now I can do my pad. So how tall is that pad? 1.5. So we just drew ourselves the bottom plate. And what I would do here is I would just go on top of that and I would draw myself on that face. I would draw my 3 studs. I will draw this one here. That's about 1.5 inches. I'm just going to do it roughly. But you can now take each of these and constrain them exactly. So, I mean, for example, like in a constrained video, well, that point is already there. But the height, you know, you can select that height to be 5.5. If you go into the constraints, you select that dimension. What do we want? That would be 5.5. Oh, it's already 5.5. You can constrain all these things to the actual shape, actual size, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to pad it out to my 3 studs. How tall are they? How many inches? For a 10-foot module?
117.
117. 117 inches. So now I just pretty much got my module. And what do you do from there? Where would I put the top plate? How can I, based on what we learned, how do I get the top plate in there?
Top and paste the bottom.
Sorry, I put a pad on. I don't think you can copy and paste it. So if you copy and paste it, look what happens. So this is, I kind of tricked you because I cheated here. I put a feature on the base plate, so that means now this is really part of the base plate. I needed to start a new part from scratch, a new sketch.
Could you
So-
copy the pad that's above
The pad?
001? Yeah.
So see, but this is the whole pad. The pad.
That is the whole thing.
Break down
Yeah, but there's
the-
pad
the carrot.
001 and there's pad.
So pad 001, I just did Control C, Control V. So see that if I do Control C and Control V, let's see. Other dependencies. Select all. Okay. Let me see. Control V. Yeah, I mean I'm just pasting the whole thing. So like, okay, if I hide this body, I hide that. I hide the pad. I hide this. Oh, this pad. What is
Yeah.
that? The pad 2. Ooh, looks like I might have a. Let's try that. So if I Control C and Control V on that. Yeah. So this pad. Yeah, it did do that. So somewhere we found it. There was the pad. It kept it before the actual change. That's actually a cool thing because in FreeCAD 16 it wouldn't have kept it. So okay, so in FreeCAD 1 now it keeps it. The copy is right on it. So now you would have to go into the draft to actually move it up. So let's do exactly that. So this is a pad, and inside of it is it's got a sketch. Okay, but let's go into draft. I am not going to be able to move that because, okay, but let's try to move it. So if I select this pad and once again go into a plane that I can have control in, so I know where I'm at. I'm in this plane. I clicked 1. Now I'm going to click move. Can it actually, well, first of all, I forgot. Let's go back to this thing. So I'm in this view here. I want to make sure I go into align to view. Remember that? So this, don't forget that. I'm in this view. I'm going to try to move it. Can I move it? Ooh, it lets me move it. Looks like it's working, so I'm going to try to send it to, no, it makes it disappear. So you got to clone it. You got to turn it into a dumb object.
Unless the pad, the object itself might actually be within. No?
It's got the sketch and the pad in one. You cannot move those things together because the underlying sketch, it doesn't like moving this underlying sketch. So you got to just take this thing and make a clone of it. That gets rid of all the detail. It turns it into a dumb object. So if you clone it using this feature, it says construction.
You could pick the top of your, if you could pick the top of your 3, pick that as the plane, and then draw a sketch on that.
Exactly. That's the way I would do it. What we just suggested is, yes, you can move it, and let's actually try both ways. So I align to view, so I have this pad, which is a clone. Yes, I can move it, but I don't really know where. That's a little harder. So I'm going to go back to viewing the whole thing. See, I put it up there. Yeah, it worked. It almost worked. But the simpler thing is what Keith said. Let's do that. I'm going to hide that. Just go to these and draw your top plate on one of these. Will it work? I'm sure it will. So I select one of these faces which are already on at that particular height. I'm going to just put a sketch on it. So I select the face. And the cool thing about the sketcher part where you select the faces is you don't have to do like work in this plane. You already selected the plane, which is the face. So here I'm going to go to sketcher and I'm going to just draw on it. Plane face, yes, it gets me that view. I'm going to draw my top plate across the top. Yep, close that. And then back in part design I'm going to pad it out. It's probably giving me the same thing as before. I'm going to have to take that into that body object, I think.
Just select that sketch, that one sketch that you just made.
So that's the sketch I just made. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to pad it out. So yeah, I'm going to pad it out to 1.5 inches. So there we go, we just created a module. So I described here as constructive geometry. You build a sketch, pad it out, and then put pads on. So this is a feature on a feature approach. But it doesn't give you it does give you the individual parts if you can find them in a part tree. But man, look at all that stuff in that part tree. It's pretty confusing. I don't like it. Hard to navigate. So you can do this, or you can just start individual sketches for each of the parts and do it that way. Where in that case you have the individual pieces that have their properties, like its length and width. It will be shown there, because right now I don't know how I'm going to get properties of this new entire assembly. Like, what's it say? No, I mean, it doesn't have any properties like dimensions or lengths. Well, kind of does. It has some length.
You can ungroup them, but it's not great.
Yeah. So that's the basic way. So feature on a feature, sketcher, moving and rotating things within draft. And if you know how to do that, that's all. That's a basic workflow that allows you to design everything. I have not used any other features in all the designs that we've done for the CDCO home or anything like that.
No
That's okay.
No.
Yeah, we did fillets. Okay. You can do fillets, and that's easy. But Katerina actually does it a different way too. She works in. There's a thing here called. It's either part or OpenSCAD. I think in part. It allows you to do, man, she works even simpler. The other approach is you just take a primitive objects like a cube. So she will take a cube and modify it into the base plate. So if you do a cube, it drew that little cube over there. Well, let's start a new document. So in part workbench, you can just do a little cube and now modify its properties. The cool thing about this is that you actually can work completely from the data view. So here you can have, yeah, just you change the properties in here, as opposed to, I've never done this, but you change the properties in here to turn that into your base plate by creating a cube that's a solid like this, that's 1.5 high, 5.5 wide, and then 48 inches long. So that's another approach. But that's it. If you do this, then you've got everything. And then you can do things. There's many other features. You can do multiple copies, arrays, and all kinds of stuff. It's quite powerful, and it's only improving. So for anyone who wants to go gung-ho on this, there's a page on the wiki called FreeCAD Workbench Platform. So I'm going to show you this. So if you get inspired, so the programmers in the house, if you get inspired, let's see, FreeCAD workbenches. So here, we've done several things. So this is actually a procedure for how you would create new workbenches within FreeCAD. If you're a programmer, you can take a look at this. But the cool thing is you can pretty much, following these procedures, FreeCAD is programmable. You can program it in Python. You can write scripts to generate things through the command line. Now with anti-gravity, you can do weird stuff with FreeCAD. You can have AI help you program stuff within FreeCAD like Jackson's doing. But the cool thing is, imagine now, okay, give me a wall module, this and that. You just pretty much give parameters in this. So you'd have drop downs just like in a FreeCAD, you've got all these buttons. You just create your own buttons. One button will be, okay, a door module, another module, window module, roof module. And you just drag and drop and create your whole thing. And then you just align those things. And you can parameterize it with parameters you select. Okay, I want this to be 16 on center versus 24. Here, make me a better truss that can withstand 3,000 pounds per inch or whatever. Whatever, you can program it to give you whatever design you want, and with automatic drag and drop. So that's the power for the programmers that want to get into this. But I think with anti-gravity, it's like, I think anybody could do this now. Any one of us here who actually sits down to do it could probably do it. Jackson thinks that it's not super complicated because you're using human language to tell it what to do, and of course you have to troubleshoot it and all that, but I think there's a lot of room for doing creative things. Automated workbenches for design. We want to have that FreeCAD CDK home design workbench as soon as we can, so if anybody's inspired, just do it. I think I'll quit at that, and here you just got to practice and get the hang of the very simple things that I discussed, and then you can create basic workflows, but you can create complex things with that. That's all.
Is that drag and drop feature what like Sweet Home 3D is?
Yeah, exactly. You can do pretty quickly. You can program FreeCAD to operate just like Sweet Home, where you drag and drop parts into your working dock, and it works like magic. Yeah.
Also, are you familiar with in the draft workbench downgrade?
I haven't used it.
No. So what I was doing was taking the wall modules individually, because you know you guys already have them, using downgrade, and then that breaks it into the individual lumber pieces. So that was helpful for generating a cut list.
Yeah.
That was really helpful.
Okay. Downgrade within which workbench?
Draft.
In
It's
draft.
just an arrow. It's a blue arrow pointing
Okay.
down. So that was really helpful for me.
Yep.
Another thing, within Sketcher, there's something to be able to use objects that you already have to build a sketch on. So you can take geometries that are part of a physical 3D object and sketch directly using those. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So rather
Very
than
useful.
doing like trying to get it close like you were saying,
We got some fruits.
you can build it directly to the geometries that are
For a
there,
complete diet.
and then extrude it out.
Yeah, that's good. So you can basically extract the geometry from existing 3D and use
Correct.
it as a sketch.
And that's just one button
Yeah,
in
that's
Sketcher.
useful.
Yeah. So those were the two things that I noticed that were very helpful for me.
You've got things like exploded part animations, all kinds of things in FreeCAD. So
Yeah, this seems
Use
very
it.
powerful. It's
Yeah.
cool that it's free.
Yep.
Just think about you have to trust the person.
There were also some things that I couldn't do in FreeCAD 16 that were in 1 that were very helpful also, like manipulating multiple parts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it could be worthwhile to have this be the standard instead of 16, especially since it's not supported anymore. But I don't know.
No, I think I'm totally cool with that. I mean, for today, I have really never used FreeCAD 1. I just got on it. The workflows are quite similar to FreeCAD 16, so I think we're okay. It's just that pain with the body object stuff.
And the tech draw when you're trying to generate, you know, those PDF files.
It's complicated.
It is different, but it's not much more complicated. Like if you made a similar video, the 2 that you had, or
Okay.
3, or whatever,
Okay.
like I could see that being essentially the same level of complexity
Okay.
from what I was seeing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you beat me to it, yeah, make that video happen. Yeah. But that would be worthwhile because that's, I mean, you got to have those tech drawings. Now, then again, what do you guys think of the computers in a workshop where you can answer any questions? Because some people are not going to be able to read technical drawings. You have to orient yourself that it's got 3 different views and 3 different planes. And to some people, it's just not transparent. You have to be able to think visually. And there are things on the flat paper that it's pretty hard to actually communicate. So spinning the object in 3D is easier. It's more foolproof. I was actually quite glad that people could look up the details. I was like, no, I don't know. Just look at the CAD. It distributes the mental effort to more people, but who thinks that having just tech drawings would be super helpful?
I'm a tech drawing
Like a
person.
physical piece of paper.
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, but we should have both.
It's hard to tell where blocking should be if you're not a contractor that knows. Oh, this needs support here. Like, oh, the blocking should be on the outside instead of the inside. Like, there's certain things that's hard to see in that. So
There should also be like a nail and screw cadence sizing.
Put it back down.
yeah, fastening schedule.
Do we know what FreeCAD has for like fastener schedules? I don't know. I haven't seen it in there.
I haven't looked at that at all.
You can make a pattern, and you can make it, so you make a whole one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do that.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that.
I'm pretty sure you can just use like built-in math to see how much you need. You just put every 6 inches.
You can do a simple script to put in all your. Okay, give me all the fasteners for this thing. Yep.
Well, check out the BIM workbench, so that has everything that you could possibly need.
If you talk to a regular architect, they work in CAD, AutoCAD and stuff all the time. So I'm sure they have something in there that relates to FreeCAD that could be forecasting schedule. I'm not sure. I gotta ask that question.
Well, the question is, what does FreeCAD have already that we can use?
Right, but of course it's the same utilization, so they all have assembly, they all have all that stuff. It's just probably gonna be called something different in FreeCAD than it is in.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's the length, here's
Okay.
the style, does it need to be galvanized?
So we'll take it at that. That's a basic FreeCAD lesson.